Hello everyone. Today's topic is about using Whitespace in presentations. How do you make use of Whitespace to make your presentations stand out? So what is exactly Whitespace? So let's have a look at, is it just a whiteboard? Yes, it is a whiteboard, but it is something with black inside. Okay. Let me give you a brief background about myself. I am from an IT background, wherein we don't use PPTs to just make presentations to an audience. Presentations are also very text heavy, and we make use of these presentations to sometimes send out documents to the client. So PPTs are used as documents, uh, sometimes like a proposals, or a response to a proposal, and sometimes just very text heavy document. So should we actually be just putting in some text on the PPT and sending it across? I mean, does it convey the message that we want to convey? Will it bring out the key information that has been buried in this particular PPT? So this is what we are going to look at in today's topic. First is, how do you title your presentation? So the title should always be centered. And if there is a subtitle or a subheading, again, it should follow the title, and it should be in a color that is not as prominent as the title. So we see right now an example of the title and a subtitle. Now, what happens if you have a title and a subtitle, and there is a space in between? Now you see a white space between a title and the subtitle. What happens is, when audience or the user, I mean, looks at this particular PPT, he is expecting some information. He sees some break in between these two headings, and that creates a little bit of confusion. So what should actually have happened is something like this. You should have the title and subtitle together, centered, and the title should have the most prominence in the whole slide. Now, sometimes you see the titles, are skewed on, certain areas of the screen. So right now in this example, I have skewed it onto a left side and on the top side. Uh, Now this is a well-known concept that everybody reads from left to right or top to bottom, right? So when you keep a title and a subtitle on, the first block on the top, what happens is the reader expects some information to follow, and that is on the bottom and on the right. So there is this a blank space, and this again kind of creates a confusion. So what we should be doing is, instead of keeping it on the right block, you should actually try and center it out on the right hand side. Okay, so the message is clear and complete. Now what if you're trying to bring out a list of people, or introduce a list of people or your team in a PPT, right? And so you have a designation and you have the name of a person. And if you have centered it, yes, I mean, we want to center it, but if you have centered it like this, you see the names are getting having a haphazard pattern. So instead of keeping it like this, what you should actually be doing is, bringing the names, the list of names and the designations in a structured format. So the designations are on the left, the names are on the right, and we all have seen this particular format being used. I mean, if anybody has seen a movie, they have seen this structure being used. And sometimes the lists are very long. In order to give a signify that this list is complete, what you can do is you can add a small line which basically tells the audience that this is the end of the list. Again, make use of the white space all across. Whatever information we are trying to portray, put it right in the center so that the message is very clear. Now, what if you're trying to introduce a concept? As I told you, in my example, or my work, I mean, we basically have very text-heavy presentations. So if I have to introduce a concept on a presentation, I would rather not put the main concept on a left, right, top, bottom. I would like to keep it right in the center. It draws the attention of the reader, and the message is very clear that this is the most important topic on this particular page. What if you have more text on it? So how are you going to have more text? Now, we already know, we are already talking about a text heavy document, but still we have to make sure that if it is a PowerPoint, your text in a page should not go beyond 200 words. Otherwise it would be very difficult, nobody is going to read it. So try to keep your point very concise. Try to actually put it in general presentations. We would not even have the text, we would just have the topic. But if you have to keep certain context to the particular topic, keep it to less than 50. But if you have to go beyond that, 200 is the max. Otherwise, just forget. You have to rethink about your PPT, or probably split your topics into more than one topic. Sometimes the topics itself are long, the topic heading itself is long. So this is one example of how you can basically highlight your topic as well as the context. Sometimes you have a picture, an image, and the context that goes with it. So if you have a picture, that is much better. As everybody knows, an image is basically worth more than 1,000 words. So if you have a picture that can actually talk through, that's great. Sometimes if you have a very low resolution image, then you want to make sure that your image and your context kind of balances in the center, in the middle. Okay. Sometimes you have an image and it's long, and you can make use of it. You can have your image aligned on the left hand side. As everybody knows, we move from left to right. So if an image falls on the left hand side, that is where a user's attention is going to go first. That image will talk through that person's mind, and then you have the topic and the context with it to go with. Sometimes you have a big picture, and if you want, you can just have the picture talk through, or you can have the full screen with a image and have a short caption or some context added onto the picture itself. You can introduce sections on a particular topic that you're trying to convey. So you can have a section 1, 2, 3. My suggestion is, right now in this example I have used long bars, basically, that go from top to bottom. You can use rectangles, you can use squares, you can use circles, but go with these basic shapes only. I mean, do not go with some arrows and some weird kind of a list. It does not make much use. Once you have introduced your sections, then you can continue with that uh, same pattern, and introduce the context with it. Okay. And as I said, I mean, try making use of the basic shapes, bullets, arrows, the uh, concave shapes or other types of shapes. They do not make use don't make use of them. I mean, stick with the basics. Now, if you were to convey some, this is an example of benefits of a particular project that you are trying to introduce, and you are mentioning that this particular project is going to create 3,000 new jobs. Now that itself is a very significant point. Instead of burying them in a labyrinth of information, bring that out as a single line sentence in the whole page. That will that would be a message that is of the utmost importance. Now, what if you have a lot of facts and figures that you need to convey? then you can have some kind of a layout like this. I mean, wherein you are, showing the sales figures, the margins, and the percentages or the dollar values is basically conveying the message of, what is the most important message on this particular slide. Again, make use of graphs tells the graphs can tell you the whole story. So again, that will be again at the center, and you can have a short caption for the graph. Make sure that message is getting conveyed in a following slide, if you are using a graph and you need to explain a lot about it. Sometimes you can have an image that talks about a topic, and if that is the case, you can have that image in the center, and a small caption that goes with it. If you have more than one image, two or three, make sure that you have those images captured on the screen and again centered it out. We all love bullets, right? I mean, so we hardly see any presentation that does not have a bullet. So make use of your shapes to convey a message, and your bullets basically have to be strong enough to throw the topic as well as a small context onto it. But make sure that you do not have more than three bullets on a single page. It does not make sense. You can continue the same thing in the next page, and talk through as many bullets as you want, as many points as you want, but just continue, but not more than three in the same page. This is just an example of another bulleted list, how we can try and make use of shapes and the text. Again, your bullet point should be bold and significant. The context should be of a lesser significance. Sometimes we can convey this is an example where most companies, if they have certain different products and what services they offer, for example. So this is how they can differentiate between different services. And again, once this is conveyed, I mean they take it through a bigger slide wherein this particular service is then expanded, and the context is being discussed. So these are some of the examples that we see everywhere. We have seen the use of white space. The major context, or the topic is always in the center, and the white space basically it creates it makes the presentation stand out. It makes a person feel that they want to read that particular message. Anything that goes astray across the screen is probably not going to be read, and you are going to miss that particular information being conveyed to the presenter. So guys, I mean this is something that I wanted to share. I mean, if you have any comments, do put in your comments. If you like my videos, if you need any more topics, do let me know, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.